Okay, let's move on. And we are about to go now for headlines across Africa. Stay with us.
Headlines across Africa.
Headlines across Africa.
Headlines across Africa.
Headlines across Africa.
Well, today we're going to Benin, Eritrea, and Seychelles. So, starting from Benin, we're reading from the La Nation newspaper.
Okay. Uh-huh.
The headline says Supreme Court, a book published in tribute to Osman Batoko. The President of the Constitutional Court, Joseph Jogbenu, and the Secretary General of the Supreme Court, Danding Namo, coordinated the publication of the book titled Around the States, Rights and Justice, in tribute to Osman Batoko, outgoing President of the Supreme Court. The book brings together scientific testimonies and contributions on the State Doctor of Public Law and Administrative Sciences. A book now immortalizes the passage of Osman Batoko as the head of the Supreme Court through the publication of 32 testimonies and scientific contributions. It is entitled Around the State, Rights and Justice and was coordinated by the President of the Constitutional Court, Joseph Jogbenu, and the Secretary General of the Supreme Court, Dandi Namo. The book was officially presented to Osman Batoko on Monday at the Supreme Court headquarters in Port Novo, in the presence of the President of the institutions of the Republic, several personalities, and political actors. This book, with a total volume of 615 pages, is rich with 32 testimonies and contributions, preceded by the decline of the career of the dedicatee, illustrated in pictures. It ends with a selection of judgments rendered by the contentious electoral section, which President Osman Batoko presided over during the management of the municipal elections of May 2020, and the last speech of the judicial re-entry. This was detailed by Professor Dandi Namo. Well, that's a story coming from the La Nation newspaper in Benin.
Right.
Now, moving on to Eritrea, we're reading from the Tesfa newspaper.
Okay.
And the headline says Eritrea at the UN, rebuilding towards a fresh narrative. Ambassador Sophia Tesfa Mariam from Eritrea is one of the only handful of African female permanent representatives of their countries to the UN in New York. In Africa's Renewal series profiling the African women representing their countries at UN headquarters, she spoke with Zipporah Musau about her priorities, the challenges so far, and why she's keen on bringing a fresh narrative of her country to the world. Now, below, we'll talk about some of the excerpts. So, she considers herself to be lucky. I'm a mother of 3, happily married for 30 years, and doing my very best for my country as its permanent representative at the UN. I've lived and worked in the diaspora for 40 years. I'm the first female ambassador in Eritrea to be appointed from the diaspora. Eritrea is a young country. It became a de facto state on 24th of May 1991 and legally recognized on 24th May 1993. So it makes sense that we're still building our service personnel from the diaspora. Now, she says she worked in the corporate America before the appointment, and she did a lot of community organizing before she came here. Women's groups, youth groups. She did a lot of writing too, including research papers, articles, newspaper columns, and what have you in the last 20 years. Now, she has a passion for women and youth. Eritrea women participated in the war for independence. They played a very active role in the Eritrean diaspora, and she's a product of that diaspora. Her mother was in the movement, she was in the movement, and everybody in her family too. So it naturally came to her. But beyond Eritrea, she has actually worked with community organizations and other diaspora communities, mostly with women to empower each other and work together because women's voices resonate better. So basically, it entails her interview and what's happening
Yeah.
so far. But that's a lot, and I think that's a good thing.
Oh yeah,
I'm
yeah,
happy
yeah.
being the first female ambassador from the diaspora
And
for
I like the
Eritrea.
connection, the fact that you pick someone. Not to say that you don't have, qualified people in Eritrea, but it's kind of like you're actually trying to bridge the gap and bring the people also home to serve, their country, the motherland, and all of that. I really love that idea. Okay.
Well, finally, we're moving on to Seychelles. We're reading from the Seychelles Nation newspaper. And the headline says Seychelles and Qatar cement relations in military and sports.
Okay.
Well, the signing, okay, let me just go straight to the story. So, Seychelles and Qatar have signed two new cooperation agreements in the fields of military and sports. The agreements were signed on Sunday following bilateral discussions that were held on the sidelines of the official visit by President Wavel Ramkalawan to the state of Qatar. The Seychelles Minister for Foreign Affairs and Tourism, Sylvester Radegonde, signed both agreements on behalf of Seychelles with the Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for Foreign Affairs of Qatar, Sheikh Mohammed bin Abdul Rahman Al Thani. With the existing or existential importance of maritime security and coastal surveillance as a prerequisite to safeguarding against human and drug trafficking, piracy, and other forms of terrorism, the new MOU on military cooperation further reflects a critical milestone in enhancing the Seychelles-Qatar relations in the domain of military and maritime security. Similarly, the MOU in the field of sports signifies the mutual commitments of the two countries to explore beyond the scopes of traditional fields of collaboration,
Okay.
particularly in noting the tremendous challenges that the COVID-19 pandemic poses to the normal ways of sports, the interactions by adversely impacting people-to-people contact. So this memorandum of understanding defies the present situation in anticipation of the restoration of a sense of normalcy.
Okay.
Well, both MOUs were signed in the presence of President Wavel Ramlakan of Seychelles and
Okay.
the Emir of the State of Qatar, His Highness Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani.
Okay.
That's all we
That's
have.
all
for
we
headlines.
have. Thank you. The show is Africa Daily on Africa Global Radio. Let's hear you with your comments and contributions as well. Do so through our Facebook page, Africa Global Radio, on Twitter, AF Global Radio. When you're tweeting, use the hashtag The Africa Daily Show.